The Milan derby transcends the realm of football and has become a spectacle of passion, rivalry, and raw intensity. The San Siro stadium pulsates with the energy of devoted fans, divided by loyalty yet united in their fervor for their respective teams. Steeped in history and defined by legendary encounters, the Derby di Milano is a canvas where heroes are made and emotions run wild. Tell me something now, when a derby is so ecstatic, so energetic, how would the managers be? They would be on the edge of their seats. Stefano Pioli, the manager of AC Milan, and Simone Inzaghi of Inter are the two elite managers that go toe-to-toe in this scintillating battle to determine the bragging rights. Deep dive exploration, close scrutiny, meticulous review, so much is going off the field. It can't be curtailed into one video here. The bottom line is you won't be able to witness the on-field magic without the off-field efforts. 2 years ago, Inzaghi made the switch from Lazio to Inter when he replaced Antonio Conte as Nerazzurri's head coach. At the same time, Pioli's project in Milan was beginning to take flight. Two good managers, two of the greatest clubs in Italy. You guys know what happened next. Over the past 2 seasons, Inter and Milan have amassed identical point totals, with both managing 156 points between the 2021-22 and 2022-23 campaigns. Not only this, but both the teams have started this season by taking 9 points from 9. Well, hold your horses, because the similarities just don't end here. Both Inter and Milan have conceded 74 goals in the period since Inzaghi took charge at Inter. What kind of multiverse of madness is this? This looks like a movie, to be honest. Not everything is the same, though. With goals scored, Inzaghi's Nerazzurri has a heavy advantage over Pioli's Rossoneri. The Gazzetta notes that Inter have scored 155 goals during the period, whilst Milan have managed just 133. While one can say they have the same defensive proficiency, the attacking figures illustrate the superior attacking force that Inzaghi has turned the Nerazzurri into. Looking at them head-to-head, we see an interesting pattern there as well. Inter and Milan have met a whopping 8 times across 4 different competitions, with the Nerazzurri winning 4 of those matches. The Rossoneri won 2, while a further 2 ended in draws. Moreover, Inter won the bragging rights of the last 5 derbies they have been a part of. And yet, despite having built the more formidable attack and having the head-to-head over Pioli, Inzaghi is yet to get his hands on the Serie A title. All records and still no Serie A title for Inter to show for their hard work. You see, Inter has been a side in transition, and although one can say Inzaghi has done a good job, his lack of getting consistent results has often been deemed the reason for their failure. I mean, the 2021-22 season is a very good example. Inter was commanding the league and led the title race in January, but one of their 2 losses to the Rossoneri gave Pioli's men a way back in. From then on, the Nerazzurri endured a bad wobble in form during the spring, which was enough to give Pioli a chance to mastermind an imperious run down the stretch. This saw AC Milan win the title, edging over their neighbors by just 2 points to reach the promised land. And the last campaign? Well, both Inter and Milan suffered erratic form in the league, allowing Napoli to march to the title. Conceding the league title to your local rival is a damning feeling. However, Inter has taken its revenge, and Inzaghi has looked like the superior cup competition coach of the two. The Nerazzurri have gone 4 for 4 in Italian domestic cup competitions and handed Milan a 3-0 thrashing in the Coppa Italia semi-final in 2021-22, and then in last season's Supercoppa Italiana. You see, both of the teams have their own weakness and strengths, and at one point or another have dented the other team's progress. This difference comes down to the fact that the two are entirely different managers. Their skill set, their weaknesses, their aura, everything is different. Pioli is a man of change, he is proactive, and since he arrived, he has invented more than one version of Milan. He has come back from heavy defeats by making appropriate adjustments with more weight in the midfield and more prudence in his tactics. 3 at the back, 5 men attack. He has always tried different things suiting the requirement of the team. Inzaghi is the polar opposite and remains immobile. You can't force him into tactical tweaks. With fundamentalist faith, he asked his players to trace the usual lines of play with a highlighter until the bear of the crisis was gone and Inter continued straight to the Champions League final. Every interplay is coded, and he can often see these principles getting implemented on the field. The price to pay for giving up unpredictability is the condemnation to beat those lines of play at maximum speed and power, because if Inter slows down, they struggle. Not only this, but their man management and team philosophy is also very different. Pioli, with his precise philosophy, extends the team as much as possible and involves everyone. He immediately launches new additions, as he did last year with Charles de Ketelaere, before surrendering to the evidence. The feeling is that Pioli has a greater empathetic talent than Inzaghi, as seen by the development of so many individuals. Conservatism is the way to go for Inzaghi, and he is often seen not compromising on his playing 11. A perfect demonstration of this came with 2 matches in 4 days, and the very delicate Champions League clash ahead. A certain amount of turnover seemed inevitable. Perhaps Mkhitaryan, Bastoni, and the 2 strikers could have got some rest. Instead, the starting team played, struggling due to tiredness. The first changes arrived only after Sassuolo's 2 goals. We have often seen managers not budging on their best 11 and showing zero faith in the younger blood of the team. Mourinho is one prime example. Well, Inzaghi is just like him, and even the substitutions are codified. Role by role, a booked player almost always comes off, etc., and the new signings must have more patience than at Milan. You can't change managers, but you can decide your faith, as well as the kind of leadership you want to flourish under, because even here, the 2 guys are neck to neck with one another. Pioli had a tough task at hand with guys like Ibrahimovic in the team, but he did a splendid job keeping the team together. In fact, his leadership convinced the owner to continue him as they showed complete faith in his Milan rebuild. On the other hand, Inzaghi is a guy who knows how to win. His body language, analysis, and approach tell only one thing. The scene of him showing Marusic where to take the throw-in and Caicedo's subsequent goal in the 94th minute of Lazio Juve is the symbol of how he knows how to make an impact from the field. At this point, picking a side for me is so tough considering both of them have such a familiar record and are so diversified in their management. Both managers are doing a fantastic job at their respective clubs, and the fans and the owners are backing them to take Milan to the top. Only time will tell, or football today will, because we know everything, we are everywhere. So press the subscribe button and unleash some football magic in the palm of your hands.